Right, so this is your second video for week 2 that we've been in school together. It's moving. Maybe not fast enough, but it's moving. This week is all about perspective. And so what I'm going to show you today is using your EO5 notes to pretty much help you to determine perspective, or at least as close to the best perspective of a character as possible. And so first off, just kind of remind ourselves, when we talk about identifying perspective, what we want, I'm trying to move some stuff out the way, sorry. What we want is to focus on a major event. Whatever that, well, first I want to focus on the main character. Let's start there. We want to focus on the main character, but also focus on the major event that main character is in. And that's what we want the perspective. How does that character feel? That's perspective. How does the character feel about what's ever happening in that major event? All right? And we decided to come up with a column, a 5-column chart to organize our thoughts, which is also the way in which I want to see your work shown. Okay? So I'm about to bring this down a bit. Oh, see what I got. It's probably going to be backwards. Yup. Turn this around. Okay. Bring this down a little bit. All right. So remember, we have our 5-column chart, and you will do this when you are doing perspective. This is what I want to see. I'm going to show you both. I'm going to show you, one, the column, but then I'm going to show you also in terms of if you do decide to do a paragraph, what I need to see. And so I'm going to try to do this on 2 sides. All right. So first off, we know we have conflict. And our conflict is basically, oh, it's kind of bright. Let's see what I got. So I can't see nothing. Nothing. Bring this down some more. I'm expecting this to be so bright. Give me a moment. It's a little bright. It's a little bright. That's better. All right. So you have your conflict. When we say conflict, what we're talking about with the conflict is what does the character want at the end? Okay, what does the character want in the end? If we're thinking about, if it's Lavinia's chapter, we know that Lavinia pretty much, she wants freedom. She wants freedom from being a slave. She wants freedom from that plantation. She wants freedom. All right? So that's what we know. That will make her story happy in the end. That will make her happy as a person. After conflict, now we want to get to the major event. Because the major event, to make sure that it's not some old random, dumb moment in the text, we want to make sure the major event is connected to the conflict. So what's happening now? Meaning, what are you reading? What's happening now with the character? I'm going to put C for character. That can help or hurt the conflict. All right? Then we want to go to, we'll put PV. PV is the perspective. When we say perspective, we're talking about the attitude. So how does the character feel? How does the character feel about the major event? All right? And I think I'm going to be running into this line, so unfortunately I'll be going back and forth. Actually, no, I'll just write on the bottom. And then from there, we're going to do Y. This is your at least 2 pieces of evidence. Okay? So 2 things to support, and we'll say to support the feeling. So to support. All right? And then lastly, you being able to identify the type. So type of evidence. type of evidence. So is it an action? So is the character doing something? Is the character saying something, so an interaction? Or is the character thinking something, so a thought, a thinking or a reflection of some sort? All right? So this is what we're going to use as we decide to determine a perspective or an attitude or a feeling that a character may have on a major event. Something that's happening to him or her in the moment that's getting in the way or possibly helping them reach this end goal, which we know from the very beginning. So for example, we're going to start with Muhammad. And I kind of already gave a little bit here in terms of extreme discomfort, which is what students got in class. I gave them the perspective. But we're going to talk about like how we got there, all right? And what I wanted them to do in that process. So with this, and as you see, an 11-year-old Muhammad Bilal flinched. The sore on his ankle rubbed against the iron shackle that held him, sending shivers of pain up his thin leg. He pushed his foot closer to the wooden board to which he was fastened and tried to shift his body. The man chained next to him made a noise. It sounded almost like a hoarse bark, and Muhammad knew the man's throat must have pained from lack of water. He looked at the small square of light slanted through the grating a few feet from him. Particles of dust floated in the heavy air as if suspended in the stifling heat that rose from the bows of the ship and from the bows of the dark creatures within its hold. And I'm saying that I feel like his perspective in this major event, which we haven't identified yet, is that he has extreme discomfort. All right, that's how he's feeling. So, going back, EO5 notes, I want to get that organizer out. I don't need to have you write the whole word out because I know we did the same notes together. So I know if you just abbreviate or give me the first letter, I know exactly what it means. So I'm going to just do that here. All right? So C, that's my conflict. ME, that's my major event. PV, that's my perspective. W is my evidence, so my Y. I wrote that out, but I didn't need to. I could just put W. And then the type. And here I'll just put ATI. All right? So first I want to start with the conflict. And I know, just from reading the chapter, and of course you would know too, and that's where you got to get the conflict from. You don't know the conflict unless you definitely read the story, read enough of a certain chapter to really get a sense of, okay, this is what this character is going through. This is why we even have this story in the first place. And luckily for the glory field, it kind of jumps out at you right in the very beginning. And so you can already infer and tell that his conflict, and some students even said this in class, maybe either he wants freedom or he wants to escape from this ship. It could be anything of that. So he wants freedom. So now I want to ask myself, what's happening right now in this excerpt, this paragraph? What's happening with Muhammad right now that's either helping him get his freedom or keeping him from getting his freedom? Okay? And we do know that right now, he pretty much on this ship chained up. You see about the man chained next to him, iron shackles. So we know that the major event right now is that Muhammad is chained up, is chained or enslaved. And you can say however you want to do that. All right? Or you can say he's chained on the ship, enslaved on the ship, doesn't matter. As I said, I'm like, because of this, because he's chained on the ship, because he's enslaved, I told you that he's extremely uncomfortable. So extremely uncomfortable. All right? But why? What in the text, at least two pieces of evidence to show that Muhammad is uncomfortable. Now, a lot of students kept coming down here, talking about the man chained next to him, his throat must have pain from lack of water, hoarse bark in his throat. And I really don't understand why a lot of students went here. I haven't even tried to think too much about it. I feel like one reason why a lot of students go there is because they see the word pain from lack of water. The fact that maybe being next to this man, a lot of students are starting to infer that maybe it was uncomfortable to be chained next to somebody else. But unless the text, especially in this case where it's written in third person, unless the author is telling you the thinking of the main character because of this moment, you can't use this. This is not focused on the main character. And remember, you need to focus on the main character. This is focusing on some random man. So the man next to him is chained and he made a noise. The man next to him has a throat that needs water. And so if I said what is the perspective of the man, you can say, well, he probably feels neglected, or he probably feels, or he's probably parched, I guess, because pain from he has lack of water. So no one's probably helping him. But the only way you can say Muhammad and use it as evidence is if it said afterwards, and because of this, Muhammad trembled, or because of this, Muhammad felt a quiver in his stomach. But you need something that tells you how Muhammad reacted due to the man. So if you don't get that, can't use it. So I want to keep that and do that for yourself. If you don't get what the main character is doing or feeling or reacting to something else, even if you feel like it stands out, do not use that evidence. So again, I want to go in here and figure out, well, what in here is happening to Muhammad? What in here is Muhammad saying? What in here is Muhammad thinking that is showing that he is uncomfortable, that he is extremely uncomfortable? Well, I do know that he flinched at the sword that rubbed against his ankle from the shackle. That could be uncomfortable. And the flinch is like, when someone pinches you and you do that little jerk. It's that reaction to a quick and odd pain. So that is something that can show, yeah, he's uncomfortable. This shivers of pain up his leg, that's uncomfortable. That is definitely uncomfortable. So we can use that. The fact that he had to shift his body. When people start to move around too much, many times they're moving around because how they're sitting or where they are, they're not comfortable. And that can say that maybe he's uncomfortable too. So I have 3 things just from the very beginning that tell me, yeah, Muhammad is uncomfortable. And I can pick any one of those 2. So I'll just say shifted his body. I will also say, I'll take the flinched. So those are my 2 pieces of evidence. And now the only thing I need to do is ask myself, well, what is this evidence? Is it an action? Is it a thought? Or is it an interaction? He's not thinking this. He's not thinking about flinching. He's not thinking about shifting his body. He's actually doing it. He's not having a conversation. He's actually doing it. So I know these are actions. And so I'll just put actions. And that's it. That's all I'm asking you to do. The actual process, what you need to show, is simple. Most of your work is going to come from the thinking. Most of your work is going to come from the thinking. All right, let me spin myself around. And that's what I really want you to think about. All right, especially right now where things are is very simple. What I'm asking you to show me, that's what I want. I want you to show me that you are able to think and then just simply put it on paper. We haven't got to anything crazy where I want you to really go into some in-depth detail. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. I'm trying to pace this out for you. But that's what I want to see today. That's what I want. So when you're thinking about perspective, when you're going in, not only do I want that setup, but I want you to start thinking in that way. Thinking about that main character, what that character's doing, what that character's saying, what that character's thinking, that's definitely telling you how he or she is pretty much looking at a situation or feeling or perceiving a situation to be. All right? So, let me see y'all do some good stuff.